Gorka on live TV for what he said about Trump. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Sunday went after Sebastian Gorka for trashing President Donald Trump's foreign policy goals. Tillerson said that Gorka is completely wrong. This is yet another example of some of the infighting in the Trump cabinet. During an interview on Fox News Sunday, Rex Tillerson said that the resignation letter of Gorka that was reported by the Federalist is wrong. He isn't a believer in Gorka's perceived persona. Advertisement. In the letter, Gorka went after the president for falling to forces that do not support the Make America Great promise. Gorka and Rex Tillerson were huge believers in this mantra during the 2016 campaign. This was made patently obvious as I read the text of your speech on Afghanistan this week, Gorka wrote. The fact that those who drafted and approved the speech removed any mention of radical Islam or radical Islamic terrorism proves that a crucial element of your presidential campaign has been lost. Tillerson is a firm believer in Sebastian being wrong, and he even told Fox News that he thought so. Advertisement. It shows a lack of understanding of the president's broader policy when it comes to protecting Americans at home and abroad from all acts of terrorism, Tillerson said. The problem is that terrorism has spread to so many organizations. The president has put his cabinet into action to create policies and tactics to battle terrorism. There are numerous forms of terrorism, and it's not always a physical battle, and that's what makes the job so hard for Tillerson and the rest of the cabinet. Gorka's departure from the White House was reported Friday night, a week after the exit of ally and White House chief strategist Stephen Bannon. What do you think of Tillerson going after Gorka? Do you think that Gorka is right, or do you think Tillerson is right? Virginia Governor and Clinton bagman Terry McAuliffe makes crazy demand of Trump on CNN. Governor Terry McAuliffe of Virginia is an idiot. He is a liberal whiner that belongs to the Clinton cartel. McAuliffe has never had the state of Virginia, or his voters in his interests. He is a social justice warrior and cares only about serving the globalist agenda. Sunday on CNN's State of the Union, Terry McAuliffe said in the wake of violence in Charlottesville, Virginia, Confederate monuments had become symbols of hatred and that should come down. Advertisement. Yes, those statues are hateful. They shout racial slurs and say, "I hate you," every time someone walks by. McAuliffe said, "When I gave that speech is when I had taken executive action and removed the Confederate flag from all the license plates in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It was a very controversial move when I did it because I said, listen, this is a divisive symbol that is on the license plate, and as governor, I took executive action. Many individuals disagreed with my action at that time. This man has no common sense. The statues aren't a harmful being. They are simply stone monuments to heroes from Southern lore. Nothing more. When the left is done tearing down the Confederate monuments, they will go after the Founding Fathers." Advertisement. So this was the first step, and now what we have soon after Charlottesville and around the country, that those statues have very similar significance to what went on when I took the Confederate flag off our license plates, he continued. They are, monuments should be unifiers. They are now symbols of hatred, and I have said let's take them down. I do not have the authority as governor. The local jurisdictions do, in the General Assembly. Let's take them down and move forward. What do you think about this? Do you think McAuliffe is in the right? Liberal Phoenix mayor has epic public meltdown after Trump pardons Sheriff Arpaio. On Friday, Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton had his feelings hurt so badly. President Donald Trump pardoned the legendary Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Stanton threw a tantrum and wrote a letter letting his poor widow wins. Pardoning Joe Arpaio is a slap in the face to the people of Maricopa County, especially the Latino community and those he victimized as he systematically and illegally violated their civil rights, Stanton wrote. Advertisement. The Phoenix mayor went on to say that Arpaio targeted and terrorized Latino families because they were a certain color. Yet, most Latinos are white. Yes, Arpaio was ordered by a federal judge to stop and he didn't. Arpaio didn't because he wanted to make sure his county was lawful and the citizens of Phoenix were safe. Stanton tried to say that he got a fair trial and was convicted justifiably. Phoenix Mayor Stanton will get over it. Just like the thousands of people who are fake outraged in order to appease the nutjob left. Advertisement. Donald Trump can ignore the rule of law, but it was our voters who removed Joe Arpaio from power. The White House announced Friday night that Trump had pardoned the controversial former sheriff. Yeah, Stanton is yet another liberal who doesn't understand a pardon. He says that Trump can't ignore the rule of law, but that is exactly what a pardon is for. The left is insane. They love listening to the science that proves climate change, even though it's been disproven. They don't listen to the science that says there are only two genders, even though it's never been disproven. Now they care about the rule of law all while saying there are no illegal people. Throughout his time as sheriff, Arpaio continued his life's work of protecting the public from the scourges of crime and illegal immigration, the White House said in a statement. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is now 85 years old, and after more than 50 years of admirable service to our nation, he is a worthy candidate for a presidential pardon. What do you think about this? Breaking Never Trump establishment GOP leader calls for coup against Trump. Peter Winter, the Never Trumper and former George W. Bush advisor, is so upset about President Trump's supporters standing up for Trump that he is begging the GOP to form another deep state to fight Trump and his agenda. This proves that the Republicans can't be trusted unless they support Trump. Writing in the New York Times, of course, Winter declares, "What's required now is a comprehensive, consistent case by Republican leaders at the state and national levels that signals their opposition to the moral ugliness and intellectual incoherence of Mr. Trump." Advertisement. Instead of standing beside the president, Winter wants the conservative establishment to consider us liberated and give an appealing alternative to him. Yes, he wants us to think in terms of shadow government during the Trump era. This is disgusting and has nothing positive that it could produce. This approach is completely illegal and should end up putting him in jail. He says, this approach involves risk and may not work and predicts it will provoke an angry response from the Breitbart alt-right talk radio part of the party. Advertisement. So be it, Winter continues, adding, Republicans who don't share Mr. Trump's approach have to hope that his imploding presidency has created an opening to offer a profoundly different vision of America, one that is based on opportunity, openness, mobility and inclusion. He calls for a new intellectual infrastructure to address what may prove to be one of the largest economic disruptions in history and implores people in positions of influence to appeal to moral idealism. Winter is just another establishment elitist who was crucial in helping the Democrats paint the Tea Party as a massive racist movement. The media as subservient moron used Peter Winter during the Obama administration to help make Obama's presidency look better. While Winter's never-Trump allies like Bill Kristol have been plotting behind the scenes to oust Trump in 2020, Winter may be proposing a shadow government because he realizes that, as a House Republican apparently told him, anti-Trump Republicans are never going to have a majority of people against him, because Trump's voters still make up the biggest faction in politics. What do you think about this? Should the GOP be on the lookout for traitors? Sheriff Joe Arpaio breaks his silence, they slaps John McCain. Joe Arpaio was interviewed on a radio station and he made it very clear that he isn't going anywhere. He even hinted at a possible public career after being pardoned by President Trump. Sheriff Arpaio took advantage of the interview to battle back at the loser Senator John McCain for bashing Trump's decision to pardon Arpaio. Joe Arpaio was shocked that McCain made the comments, but he believes that McCain is just trying to make the president look bad. Advertisement. Arpaio bashed McCain for casting a decisive vote on a bill, which purposefully stopped a skinny repeal of Obamacare. Arpaio called out McCain for causing numerous people to suffer. Arpaio was convicted last month for defying a judge's order to not detain suspected illegal immigrants. He had faced up to 6 months in prison and possible fines. Fresh from being pardoned by Trump on Friday, Arpaio was speaking in a recorded interview set to air Sunday night on this reporter's talk radio program, Aaron Klein Investigative Radio, broadcast on New York's AM 970 The Answer and News Talk 990 AM in Philadelphia. Advertisement. Arpaio said that he let his wife know when he left as the sheriff after 24 years, he wasn't going to get involved in politics. Arpaio then decided that he was going to change his mind because of everything that was going on and how the system is stacked against the president. He served in law enforcement for 55 years. It's impressive to see that number. During the interview, this reporter read to Arpaio a tweet from McCain that was critical of Trump's pardon. "I'm a little surprised at the senator. He did call me after my election loss. I'm really shocked that he took that shot at me. I stayed out of his race as a matter of courtesy and he called me after I lost. Anything I can do for you?" "Well, thanks, Senator. Thanks a lot." What do you think of Arpaio being so blunt?